Ultimately, there's probably a million different property investing strategies, and it really depends on you. It depends on your income. It depends on what you're trying to get out of the properties and really what your time frame is. So some of the major strategies would be the buy and hold, and that's really to buy a property, hold on to it forever, and basically refinance every year and take your cash out. Some other people's strategies is to basically buy, renovate and flip. So that's where you buy a property, you do a major renovation, and then obviously you sell it and use the profits to then put into the next property. But the problems with that is that there's a lot of costs of buying and reselling, and obviously a lot of tax if you're making a profit as well. Now, another strategy is off the plan, and that's good, where you don't have to put too much money down. Ideally, you buy a property today, it takes a couple of years to get built, and by the time you actually pay for it, ideally it's then risen from 500 to 600, which means that you need to put very little kind of deposit down. The other kind of strategies are you investing for capital growth or for rental yield? And there's always been a massive debate on which is the right answer. Ultimately, capital growth is great because it gives you a chance to take big lump sums of deposit to put into the next property. But the downside is quite often there's a big difference between the rent and the mortgage. And so the banks don't really like you because you're negative cash flowed. Whereas on the positive cash flow properties, that's great because the rent actually covers the mortgage, which makes it easy to cash flow. But then quite often the disadvantage about those kind of properties is that it doesn't necessarily rise in value as much, and so it's harder to get your deposit for the next property. So there's no perfect answer. There's pros and cons to every strategy.